Today I finally remembered to wear a hat so I don't have to squint at the camera this whole time. And I am challenging myself and you all to move through this class really slowly. The slower you take Pilates moves, often the more it burns and gets into those deep core muscles. So we'll give it a shot. So you're going to start standing towards the front of your mat, and we're going to take a roll down nice and slow. So starting with tucking chin to your chest, and slowly start to roll your shoulders forward, letting the arms be heavy. Start to round that upper spine, pull belly button back, slowly bending that spine bone by bone as you reach down. Soft bend in the knees. Until you hit that low back, reaching for your toes. Make sure your feet are just a tad wider than hip width distance apart, about mat width distance apart. Just taking a moment to hang out here. Little inversion. Let the head be heavy, let the arms be heavy. Grab your elbows, shake your head yes and no. Relax your jaw, relax your face. Release your arms. Bring your hands to your mat. And then just lower your booty down towards your heels. Coming into a low squat. Let those knees go out wide. Elbows softly pressing into your knees, just opening up the hips and inner thighs. And then lift that booty back up high, fold forward. Try to straighten your legs here, get that stretch through your hamstrings. And then sit back down, lift the chest, bend the knees. And just rock side to side a little bit. And back to center. Lift the booty one more time, fold forward. Lengthen out those legs. Let the spine be heavy towards the floor. And sit back down all the way onto your mat. Lengthen the legs out in front of you. Reach the arms forward. And from here, you're going to start to tuck that pelvis under, round the spine, pull belly button back to spine. Start to engage your core here. Press those heels firmly into your mat. And we're rolling down nice and slow and controlled. Bone by bone, release your spine onto the mat. Reach arms overhead and just lengthen here. Big inhale and exhale. Alright, we're going to do a slow roll up to sitting. Seated or sitting. So you're going to start with initiating this roll up with your arms, starting to reach forward, curling up head, neck, and shoulders. Pull belly button back to spine. Use that core to lift you up. Sitting tall and folding forward, reaching for your toes. So we really want to be using the core to sit up more so than your hip flexors. From here, reach forward, tuck that pelvis under, round that spine, nice and controlled. Take it slow. Lower all the way down, reach overhead. And then exhale, reach forward, curl up. Reach forward. And release. And again, rolling down nice and slow. Pull belly in and back, round that spine. bone by bone onto your mat. And reach overhead. One more. Rolling up on your exhale. And stretch it forward. And rolling back down, this time with feet into the mat. Bent knees, roll all the way back down to your back. You're going to bring your hands behind your head. And we're going to do some chest lifts as we alternate bringing a knee into the chest. So curling up, head, neck, and shoulders, lift that chest. Bring one knee towards your chest. Lower and lower. Lift. Pull that knee in. Lift the chest up. And we alternate. Exhale on every rep. Exhale to lift. To engage those abdominals. Draw the ribs down. Try to clear your shoulder blades from the mat. When you lift, thinking about lifting up rather than just rounding forward. Adding those knee lifts really help us work the low abs in addition to the upper abs from this chest lift. Next one, you're going to hold that chest lift up, keep that leg in tabletop, and bring the other leg up into tabletop. Holding your chest lift, we're going to alternate femur arcs or toe taps. So you're alternating toes down to the mat. Legs keep their shape, same angle as you lower your femurs or your thighs away from your center, pull back up. So you're using your core to stay lifted, using those quads a bit to pull the leg back up. So we want to think core and quads more so than hip flexors. Keep tapping and breathing for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Lower the feet, arms out wide, drop the knees to one side, gaze the other way. Just wring out the spine. Pull the knees back to center with your core. Drop the knees to the other side, gaze the opposite direction. Using that core, turn it on as you pull knees back through center. Keep your knees and feet together here. So zipping up from your heels to your pelvic floor here. Squeeze those inner thighs in glutes and pelvic floor. We're lifting up to our bridge here. So coming up to your shoulder blades. We're going to start with opening those knees wide and pull it in. Open and close. Press strong through your heels. Squeezing glutes and hamstrings to stay nice and lifted. Working the inner thighs and pelvic floor and glutes. And then we keep those knees closed and we drop one hip down towards the mat. Lift back up through center and switch. So hip dips side to side. So you're dropping your pelvis and lifting it back up. Lower hip. Use that glute to squeeze and lift back up through center. Four, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze those knees together and just pulse it up. Lift those hips a little bit higher. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Lower the spine, nice and slow. And then hug the knees into your chest. Rock it out. And coming up to your Z-sit, let's start with the left shin in front, right shin reaching back for mermaid. Left hand to the mat, right arm up and over. Keep reaching that right sit bone for your mat, reaching right hip down, oppositionally away from the right fingertips to lengthen that right side body. Pressing strong through that left arm. Find all the length you can here. And lifting up, switching to the other side. Stretching out those hips. I know we're trying to avoid using hip flexors, but I'm sure you felt them turn on a bit there, so always nice to stretch them out after that. One more each side. And switch. Alright, switch the legs. We've got the right shin in front, left shin reaching back. Right hand to the mat, left arm up and over. Find all the length you can in the left side body. Reach the left hip down. And switch up and over. Breathe into the tightness. And switch. This feels so good. And last one. Alright, coming to hands and knees. Alright, this is where we're really going to feel the burn, and it's going to be hard to take it slow. We're going to start with hip circles, the left leg. So keeping your left leg bent, pressing strong through your hands, shoulders are down and wide. You're going to draw hip circles, so draw circles with your knees. Bring that bent leg out wide, back and down. Try to draw your ribs down, pull belly button back to engage your core. Super stable and strong through your core. And switch direction of those circles, back, wide, and in. Try to exaggerate those circles, make them nice and big so you really get to work on your hip mobility here. Alright, keeping that foot flexed, we're going to do rainbows. So tapping one side of your mat, up and over to the other side. Tap and lift from that glute, up and over. That right stabilizing glute is probably feeling it as well. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming down on your right forearm. Now we point those left toes, pull knee into left elbow, and kick it up nice and high. Knee to elbow, and lift. Pull it in, and then lengthen. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to take that leg nice and wide and pointed, nice and long, and then bend and go over your other knee, finding length in that outer left hip. Kick it nice and wide, bend and cross over. This one really works the core and arms as well. Lots of stabilizing. 3 more. Man, my stabilizing glute is burning. Last 2. Last 1. And lastly, keep the toes pointed and diagonal lift. So you're down and back here using that outer glute med to lift that leg at a diagonal here. 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Press back, child's pose. All right, I'm going to swing around for the other side. So coming back up to hands and knees. Now we're working the right leg. So we'll start with those hip circles, keeping that leg bent, out wide, back, and down. It's already burning from all of that stabilizing work, so this side is going to be more challenging, that's for sure. And switch direction of those circles. And then flex that foot, rainbows, long leg, up and over your mat, each side. Pressing strong through your hands. Shoulder blades are down and wide. Make sure you're not sinking into those shoulders. Three, 2, last 1. All right, and coming down to that left forearm, we're gonna do those knee to elbows, pull it in, and lengthen. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hardest move of all, I think. Out wide, bend and cross it over. Kick it wide. This one's so good for the obliques too, to get that nice and wide. You really got to use that oblique to lift that leg there. Cross over the other knee. I gotta remind myself to take it slow, feel the burn, breathe through it. Last 2. Last 1. All right, lastly, that angle, the diagonal angle, lift that leg, point the toes nice and long. Using that outer glute to lift. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Child's pose. Walk your hands over to the left side of your mat and then sit back again. And hands over to the right and sit back. Back through center, coming forward, pressing up to a high plank here. Let's step the right foot forward, right outside your right hand. And just rock back and forth here, opening up that left hip flexor. So you're rocking through the left foot, sending that heel back and forth. rolling through your toes to balls of your foot. And then press strong through those hands, step back to a high plank, and then step that left foot nice and wide. Just rock back and forth, stretch it out. Stretching out those hip flexors, the always tight hip flexors. Eve's got a bone. And step back to your high plank, lift those hips, down dog. And just take a moment here, pedal it out. Lifting the right leg nice and high. Whole knee down, your shin down for your pigeon, untucking the back toes. Coming up to your fingertips and slowly melting all the way down to your forearms or forehead. Breathe into that tightness. Making your way back to your hands and press back, high plank and up to a down dog. And lift the left leg high and pull that shin down, coming into your pigeon, untucking the back toes, lifting up to your fingertips, and settling into it, coming down to your forearms. Keeping your weight centered through your hips. Making your way back up to your hands, swinging your leg around, coming to a seated position. Just lifting those arms up overhead. Lift your gaze, hands into prayer. Extend that spine. Pull prayer down to your heart and just close your eyes for one big breath. Big inhale through the nose. Hold. And exhale out the mouth. Lovely. Thank you as always for joining me.